Hello, beautiful lights, and welcome to another episode of From a Medium's Perspective. Today, I have a wonderful guest to share with you. His name is Vincent J. Barra. If you want to check him out while I'm talking about him, his website is vincentmyfuture.com. He is an internationally celebrated medium and psychic counselor. He is a master teacher of Reiki. He has assisted police agencies in solving difficult cases. He is a motivational speaker, a writer. He is a radio show host of Psychic Synapse on achieveradio.com and the most interviewed psychic on Hay House Radio. I am tickled to have you here today, Vincent J. Barra.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. Great being back on your show. I think this is my second time I've been on your show.
It is, and I was tickled that you deigned to come on. Thank you so much.
Well, you're a wonderful person, and that's how I choose what shows to be part of. It's actually the person who is running the show. And if I feel like, I'm not judging anyone, but if I feel like we're not a match, or their philosophy is much different than my philosophy, I don't want to be there. But when I meet someone that I have a genuine feeling of a kinship, that's the person I want to talk to.
Oh, my heart is blushing, Vincent. Love you. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, you have gotten over the last, couple of years maybe, into an interesting healing modality, and you've been using mandalas.
It's very, very strange. I'm a psychic, and I've been a psychic my entire life. I was born psychic, and I'm actually born into a psychic family. Both sides, both mother and father, have their storylines of the soothsayers, as my mother would call them, in our family lines. When I turned 40, I was going to sleep, and as I was nestling into my pillow, into my bed, and getting to that twilight zone, all of a sudden I heard a voice. And I don't know if it was outside of me or inside of my mind. But the voice said, give away everything you own and move to California. You will meet a small woman with strange hands. And I felt that was so direct that within 6 weeks I moved. And even my friends said to me, all my friends said to me, this is crazy. You've worked so hard to obtain what you have and getting everything and remodeling your home and everything. Why would you just give it all away? And I said, I heard a voice. I said, let's see what happens. Well, when I came to California, I went to a metaphysical psychic fair, the Whole Life Expo, and I passed this booth, and there were people with their hands on other people who were sitting down, and they had these wonderful auras. I haven't seen such peaceful auras in such a long, long time. I mean, they were all of them that were in this booth. There were probably 8 or 9 of them, and all of a sudden, this little old lady, she really was. She must have been 90 years old. You could feel the hostility coming. And she says, I'm tired of waiting for my session. And when I looked at her, her entire aura was not only deep, deep red, which means this is a person who doesn't want to win a war, just wants to fight in the war, and is just angry. And I could see the anger under it, but it looked like jagged glass. Terrible aura to have. It's funny because my heart went out to her, and I said, gee, what an awful way to be in an existence. Well, she sat down, and the practitioner, put their hands on them. They were giving her a Reiki treatment, which I knew nothing about, by the way. And as I started watching this, all of a sudden her aura started to fluff. I've never seen that before. It was just like you would take a sheet and just shake it out. And that's what the aura looked like. These waves were going by, and the red started to lessen, went more into pinks and then into blues and into lavenders. And all of a sudden, when I looked at this ugly face of this terrible woman that screamed at everyone, it was such a beautiful, angelic face.
Wow.
That I said to myself, I've got to get one of these treatments. I got the treatment. I'm not going to go into that story because that's a story unto itself. But, 5 weeks passed by, and it felt like 5 years because the energy left. And I no longer had that feeling of flow. When I walked into the class, we sat down, and then they introduced the master teacher, who was Joyce Morris, and then come this little lady. And she was shaking hands about it, and when she shook my hand, an electricity went through me. And so the thought of the voice that said, give away everything and move to California and you'll meet a small woman with strange hands, I knew that this would change my life, and it did change my life.
Yes.
And here's is very strange. I'll just go further than that. 5 years ago, I went through a near-death experience. It was the second time I went through it. I met my old guys. I met the new guys they introduced me to, who now do my readings for me, which are wonderful because I love what they discover in people.
Yes.
What happened was that I started seeing the mandala in my mind. And no matter what I looked at, and I also am a photographer, so I started looking at my photographs of flowers and colors and everything. And I was instructed how to create these mandalas.
Just in brief, for those people that might not know what a mandala is, could you explain?
Yes, in life there are mandalas all around us. A mandala is sort of a circle. If you cut a tree in half and you see the yearly circles that they make, that's a mandala. When you focus into a mandala, what happens is that it is a form of meditation that allows you to change the pictures and the thoughts or the outdated habitual responses to life that really not advance us but bring fear and shame and a feeling of worthlessness to us. And when we get stuck in those thoughts, what happens is that whatever event comes your way, you will react the same way. I'll make it, for example, if you were 5 years old and you're walking down the street and someone just came out of nowhere and just hit you off the side of the head, and the only that you had of them was blonde hair, for the rest of your life you would be frightened if everyone has blonde hair.
Mm-hmm. Yes, our survival instinct, yes.
Exactly. So when you have that picture in your mind and you cannot get rid of it, you revert back to that feeling. And when you revert back to that type of mind, your body takes a toll. Well, this is a personalized mandalas. And the mandalas that I create for people are created, first they have to answer a questionnaire so I can get to know them. And they tell me their colors and their storylines. And using my psychic ability, I tune into this and I create a mandala. Life is very difficult, and it is. This is a difficult world, and it always has been, and it always will be. Just because it's raining outside does not mean you cannot go out and have fun. When you get past that thought, you're able then to start examining who you really are, your talents, your worth, your creativity, what you can accomplish. And when you start seeing that, instead of seeing what everyone else was telling you, how bad you are and how terrible you are, and that's all you keep hearing all your life. You become your worst critic, and you become your roadblock. There's no such thing as a roadblock. We are our roadblock.
Yes.
So when we create a roadblock, that roadblock is created not out of a laziness, I don't want to do this again, I don't want to stay on this diet. What happens is that instead of looking at how much you have to do to change something or what it's going to cost you and what the energy you have to put in, you start looking at the rewards of if you do this. People who procrastinate, and believe me, I'm a procrastinator. I tell people, do not measure what I talk about by the way I live my life because I'm a lazy son of a gun. And I really am. And I really am. But if you really listen and apply the understanding that we have about the human nature and about the spiritual nature in us, you can really change your life. And I'm not just saying that because everybody's been saying that for eons. I'm saying that you can change your life. Not that your life will change. You can change your life.
Yes.
And once you understand that and accept it, it no longer will matter and you'll get on with your life.
Yes, because it will always have its challenges. We're physical beings, or right now.
Life really is a torture. But in the middle of that torture, there is wonderment.
Yes.
Greatness. And you can find that. So I created these mandalas so people can do that. I have this one person, Liana. She lost 110 pounds on the weight loss mandala.
Wow.
that I'm not kidding about. I actually have all the photographs and everything. I really think that everybody should get a mandala, a personalized mandala. By the way, you can go on the on the internet and download a mandala, but it's not going to be personalized.
Right.
It's
It won't be tailored to your particular
right.
psychology and emotional makeup.
I lost 70 pounds.
Wow.
I just felt bad, and they took me to the hospital, and they realized, oh, my God, there's something wrong with your heart, and they put me into an operation, and I flatlined, and I died of cardiac arrest.
Mm.
And I was 250 pounds, and I'm only 5'10". And so the first thing you hear is you have to lose weight. And there was no way I could lose weight. I've been heavy my entire life. And then when I went back and started to remember my journey when I went through the near-death experience, with the new guides that I met, I started looking at my photography, and I started creating mandalas out of the pictures.
How amazing.
I lost 70 pounds.
So you made one for yourself then too, yes?
I have 4 of them myself.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why I have 4, and I intermittently use them when I need them, it's just like food. In your refrigerator, you have more than one type of food. And one day you eat one day you eat the other one, depending on what your needs are and what you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I've gained 6 pounds. By the way, I lost 70 pounds 5 years ago now. And the greatest thing happened, and Tracy, this is the first time I've ever heard this in my life. This is the first time I've ever heard this. I went to my doctor. I had not seen him for about 6 or 7 months. And I went to see him, my cardiologist, who I love. And first thing when I walked into the office, he looked at me, he says, Vincent, you need to gain some weight. You are too thin. I've never heard that my entire life.
Right.
And then I realized when I saw a picture of myself, I said, oh, my God, I really was. I went from 250 pounds down to 160.
Wow.
I'm now around 170. I started using my mandala again about 4 days ago. Just yesterday, I was out with a friend, and she said, would you like to get something to eat? It was about 4 o'clock. And I said, oh, I forgot to eat today. She looked at me. She says, you forgot to eat? I have to stop looking at the mandala too much. You know? I'm so excited about this work because I could see the changes in people.
Well, I want to tell you that you created a mandala for me a few months ago. And initially, you had suggested looking at it a certain number of times a day. And I just didn't have the discipline because my entire life was on fast forward. But it started a process in me where I started slowing down and taking my day in segments and loving myself in the morning by self-care, and then loving my clients in the afternoon, doing readings and the radio show, and loving my friends and family in the evening. Like you said, I didn't use it every day, but off and on. And I have lost 12 pounds so far, have a ways to go, great ways to go. It's interesting because it kind of started me on a path where I began focusing on me. Literally had a moment one day where I thought, how long have I been unaware of my body? You know, I've chosen to follow a vegan diet right now. I don't know that that's for everyone, but what the benefits of that have been is it's led to improvement in my health that's been very significant. And my anxiety seems to be slowly drifting down. This is probably about 3 weeks after shifting that, and more energy. And I think, and I have it posted in different places all over my house, just like a little miniature of it. And I used to have one on a keychain, but I need to make another keychain with that, and on my refrigerator. And it's sometimes I spend longer looking at it.
Tracy, you are using exactly the correct way for you, and it is working on you. I've heard this story so many times already.
I bet.
And the first few times I heard the same exact feeling about all of a sudden things started changing. I don't know why, but they started changing.
I am loving myself.
Appreciating yourself more.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to tomorrow.
I definitely am.
That's what a healing does. That's what a healing actually does to people. Yeah, I'll bring it around, because what happened was when I was a child, I was a typical boy. I was in the mud and everything. My parents were totally embarrassed about me. And when I would come home full of mud and everything, I mean, especially when I was playing games and, baseball and everything, I'd be in the mud all the time. I come home, the only thing I ever wanted washed were my hands. No one could ever figure that out, nor did I, until I actually took Reiki, because that's laying of the hands. And I realized I was protecting my hands to do my healing work, which naturally led to the mandalas. When you are healed or unburdened, or when you feel better about who you are, when you start respecting yourself, and most people, we don't respect ourselves.
No, we've internalized all those external messages. And when we're younger, maybe we don't have a chance to dispute that, when we're children in a family unit or we're young adults and we don't know what boundaries are in a relationship. And we sometimes don't realize how much mental and emotional freedom that we do have to make changes.
Either you live in fear and it doesn't bother you, or you run away from everything and it doesn't bother you, or you try to fix everything and it doesn't bother you. It does not really matter how you live your life. If you want to eat fish in the morning, or you want to eat in the afternoon or the evening, it really does not matter as long as you nourish yourself.
Yes.
And we start understanding that our choices that we make bind us to a contract, a contractual agreement with the universe, that's what I want to happen. So if you wake up, or if you go to sleep at night hating the world and hating everything, you will wake up with the same thought, and the rest of your day you will have a horrible day. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, probably 4 or 5 people will step on your feet or cut you off or do something crazy to you.
It does. It what is it, like attracts like, things, we send our energy or our focus in a particular direction. And
well, it is true, but it's more than that. It's more than that. It's when you go to a movie, you send 4 people to the same movie, and then they discuss the movie afterwards. All 4 of them will have come away with 4 different thoughts about it, about the same exact movie, and they will see different aspects of the movie. Because when you discuss it, remember when she brought the ice cream, and the other was like, oh, I forgot about that.
Right.
So life is always happening around you. You just focus into whatever you want to focus in. So if you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I hate life, life is miserable, I'm going to have a miserable day, what will happen is that the 4 people that would have cut you off or stepped on your foot or done something stupid to you would have happened anyhow, but it would not have been such an impact on you, because your mind would have been more positive. You would have more respect for yourself and like yourself better and love yourself better and expect great things from yourself. So when someone steps on your feet, you will turn around and say, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Yes. Where our focus goes,
I love when people say I was at the right place at the right time. Or I got this message because I was there. I needed to be there. But no, you would have got the same message if you were waiting for a bus.
Yes. Yeah, I think truth is embedded in everything. And of course, I guess deception too. But the messages coming through from spirit, or our awareness being drawn to the answers. And it can be a bumper sticker. It can be a overheard snippet of conversation in a grocery store. It can be a call from an unexpected person.
Saying is, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. And the teacher could be anything that you need that lesson.
Yeah.
It's not really you need to learn.
And I feel like the mandala that I got from you, I think I felt, oh, well, I'm not using it properly. I should be staring at it for hours. And
No. Tracey, there's no wrong way of doing it, but there's a right way of doing it for a personality.
Yes. And it's just amazing. Vincent, we're going to have to come back at the other half of the hour here, and we'll pick it up where we are. And thank you again for joining us. If you want to find Vincent, he's at vincentmyfuture.com. And if you'd like to find me, it's at mediumtracylockwood.com. We'll see you in just a minute.
Now back to our show, From a Medium's Perspective, with host Reverend Tracey Lockwood.
Welcome back. My guest today is Vincent J. Barra, If you tuned in a little late today or you wanted to hear this episode again, I post these shows on YouTube. They are also on my website at mediumtracylockwood.com. And let's get back to our guest, Vincent J. Barra. Hello, Vincent. Welcome back.
Thank you, Tracy. Right. What's the month and day that you were born?
I was born on November 26th.
I'm a numerologist also. This year for you, it's not a great year. I mean, you won't look back and say, wow, that was such a great year. But you will look back and say, it was a crossroads of my professional life. You can work in chaos. It's very easy. You're an organizer. If I had a business that needed to be organized, I would hire you. Several things that you would do. You would be honest. You respect your position in the company. You also respect myself and my company, and you will save my pennies. Mm-hmm. And the greatest thing about that, even though those are all great, you will actually reorganize it and recalculate what needs to be changed. That's the way your mind works.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Now happening, what's now happening, and if you look over your whole life, that's the way it has always been. Now what's happening, you still want to do what you enjoy doing, but you don't want to have to live in a chaotic world to do it.
Exactly.
But you're now coming to the point where you want to be not more in control right now, where you find trust in other people to do all the little things that you don't want to do, so you can get out there and do the lectures and do the books and do the book signings and get to the point where you want to go to. And that point should be is to help as many people as you can, which I believe comes from your heart, because that's the way I feel about you. You're a very heartfelt personality. With you, there's no BS with you. What you see is what you get. Gain not patience, but understanding of timing.
Okay.
And here's the greatest thing that will happen, and this is why I say it's not a great year as far as forging ahead. It is a year of really subtle changes. You were ready to make this change, and you were looking for what is going to help me to make this change, and boom, Vincent shows up. Here is the greatest thing about this year for you. This year brings to you understanding of timing and budgeting your time. And because of that, what will happen, you will attract people who just want to be with you, sort of under your tutelage, or under your spirit, or included within your spirit, like-minded personalities, as you had said, and they're willing to work for you. And they will help you to grow your business. There's two people are coming in that will absolutely help you to grow your business.
Oh,
one will be where you live. The other one will be contact will always be through a phone or a computer.
Okay.
And they will help to propel you to where you want to go. Emotionally, what will happen for you, you'll get to the point, not this year, but as we approach next year, as we get into probably August of next year, what will happen, the love of life and the love of doing what you do will become enhanced. And that will be your main motivational thought. Your motor operandi will be, I'm not going to do it if I don't love it. I'm not going to do it if it doesn't make me feel great about what I'm doing. So the choices that you will make of who to work with whom to work with, or where to go, what lectures to do, or what teach, or whatever, will be made not from your mental mind, but from your loving mind.
Oh, I appreciate that so very much.
So I need to just sound off about this. When someone accomplishes something, they say, oh, thank you, God, you did this for me. No, no, no. Thank your God or your deity for the strength for you to have done that. Someone says to me, Vincent, I want to thank you so much. The reading that you gave me a couple of years ago, whatever it was, changed the course of my entire life. I'm a better person for myself. I say to them, well, thank you for that, but don't thank me. I merely read the storyline to you.
Right.
You're the one out there, and you did it. Pat yourself on the back. Why do you give away the respect for yourself and the energy and the greatness of what you just accomplished to somebody else?
Exactly.
You could acknowledge that person's words really made me think. I'm
Yes.
the one that created the next step. When we give away appreciation of ourselves to someone else, what happens is that we don't take, and that's okay to do, but we don't take back the appreciation of self. Share the greatness of self with someone else. Make sure you have some for yourself.
Yes, yes, that's really wise. That self-determination and those choices that we make, they are truly ours to make.
Oh,
And
no one else's.
no one else
But
is
isn't
going
it
to.
nice to blame someone else?
Right, right, right. Or to, to feel that you have to wait on somebody else to do something is not healthy either, because then you're not living your life. So,
There is this great speaker, Jim Rohn, and he talks about when he met his sensei or his master teacher or his friend. I've been very lucky. I just want to say this very quickly. I've been very, very lucky and very fortunate in my life because I've had some incredible master teachers that have come my way, and people who were realized and who have given me my philosophy of how I want to live my life. And the
yes.
most incredible thing, as I look over them, they were ordinary people like the person next door, the kid down the street,
Sure.
People that we can learn how to have greatness in our lives from almost anyone if we keep our ears open.
That is a great segue into something we bandied about as a possible subject, and we don't have a huge amount of time, but we do have some.
When not to have a reading.
When not to have a reading.
For me, what a reading is not just knowing the future, because that's an easy thing to do. I mean, that's just a calculation in my mind of what you're doing right now, and I could feel the people around you, what their thoughts are. I put them all together. To me, 1 and 1 was 2, and that's how I could see your future.
Yes.
What's more important to me is for you to discover who you are and what you're capable of doing and what you're capable of not doing, so you don't waste time trying to do something you can't do. We don't know who we are. I do astrological charts with people, and when they read them, I say, well, this is not me. And I said, well, ask the people you know if this is you. All the time they say, well, I guess it's somewhat like me. I said, no, that's exactly who you are, but you don't understand who you are. We have 3 personalities in us. We have a child in us that will always be that child mind. And then we have the parent in us who will always be scolding us the rest of our lives. That's the critical self. And then we have the adult in us who, hopefully, if we use that mind, we will make adult decisions for an adult life.
Mm-hmm.
And based on is it worth it for me to have this in my life? And if you can answer that question yes, then whatever you're going to seek, go seek it. But if that answer is, no, it's not worth it for me to have it, move on, go someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you look over a menu in a restaurant. Yeah, I don't know, do I like this? I like that. I had fish the other day. Do I really want chicken? Oh, this looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stop and plan our lives also. The time never to get a reading is if you just got a reading. People cannot come back to me more than twice in a year. If I allow them, and I say allow them to come back the second time. Most of the times when someone has a reading with me, 6, 7 months, they'll call me up and they say, I need another reading. I said, no, just go listen to the tape. Answers should be there. Unless you can convince me that something really has changed, that you now need further information about it, that's the time to go for a reading. Never go from reading to reading. My readings are to take away the crutches in someone's life so they can walk free in their lifetime and stand tall. I don't want to become their crutch.
You're empowering them.
When you figure out your life, get a reading. So that sounds very strange because most people go for a reading to figure out their lives. But you have to have an inkling of what you really want to receive from that reading. What part of your life do you need to know about? For me, it's an easy process because, number one, I introduce the person to themselves by telling them what their talents are and what their capability is, and actually even go over the storylines from their past. When you were 7 years old, when your father took you over here, you met these people. Oh, my God, how do you know that? Because it's important. This is why you shaped your thoughts of being a shy person, which you're really not a shy person. You're just insecure. Because your daddy put you in an awkward spot at that particular time. By the way, mandalas do that for you also. It brings you to that point of what is holding me back. You should never go get a reading just because of the heck of it. You know, it's really strange. I cannot tell anyone when to have a reading. I know I turn away a lot of people. When people call, but actually, Tracy, this is a funny thing. I know this may happen with you. When I answer the phone, people say, "Oh my God, you answer your own phone." Well, yes,
Me too.
but I want to make sure I can read for you. I determine if I can read for you, not through my mind, but through my gut feeling.
Yes.
And if it says I'm capable of reading for this person, I'll make that appointment. I've also canceled thousands of appointments, and I'm not kidding. Well, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of them.
Yes. Do you think, though, that it's not really capability, more it's that resonance that you were talking about earlier, that you want someone to be in a state that is where they're receptive, they're not, I don't know how to put that, but it is a certain feeling like they're open. It's not vulnerable open. It's just sort of working with you rather than counter. Or what do you think on that?
I think a reading is, for me, what a reading is, and this may answer that. It's a difficult question to answer. A reading for me, and this is why I love my job, I think it's a soap opera.
Yes.
And that's why I'll go 10 years into the future and bring in their family members or other people and everything like that, because I want to know the storyline. I want to know what story to have. I look at that as a soap opera.
Yes.
And in a soap opera, it builds every day. And that's what I look for in a reading. What can this person build upon in their life right now to get them to understand how to build for themselves? There is a great, the biblical parable is you give a fish to a person who's hungry, starving. You teach them how to fish, they will nourish themselves. And that's what a reading should be. It should teach a person how to stand on their own 2 feet and how to find their way in life.
Yes. Yes, I'm with you on that. Solidarity. Vincent, I think we've come close to the end of our time. I appreciate so much your coming. It's just a joy to have you on the show. So if you needed to reach Vincent, his website is vincentmyfuture.com. Again, if you would like to find me, you can find me at mediumtracylockwood.com or friend me on Facebook at Psychic Medium Tracey Lockwood. I will see you next week for a view of life from a medium's perspective. And remember, it's never inappropriate to be kind. And without integrity, you have nothing.